in October of 1835, 184 years ago, right down the road. You know, as she said, I'm a graduate of the University of Tennessee, a proud Tennessee volunteer, but not during this college football season because we really suck this year. But that nickname was earned right here in San Antonio. When those Tennesseans came here to fight for one thing, that was freedom.
That's right.
And those Texians stood up against what they thought and what they believed and what they saw as one of the greatest powers, one of the greatest military mights. There was no United States military coming to their aid. But they just stepped out on faith and believed that they could make a sacrifice right down the road so that you all could be here today. You know, one of those auction items over there is the letter that was written by a 26-year-old. A 26-year-old. And Chris, if you didn't know, William Barry Travis was originally from South Carolina. But he came here to fight, just the same as you came here to address this incredible crowd tonight. What I want you to understand is why I started out with that vignette from Braveheart. It said, nobody wins in a circular fire. Y'all get that mental picture? We can't have a circular firing squad and win. Each and every one of us have to leave out of here committed to one single thing: preserving the future and the legacy of the great state of Texas. There's a reason why our Chris Cox is here. There's a reason why I have so many friends all across the incredible United States of America saying that, Colonel, y'all got to hold that state. If you don't hold this state, we don't hold America. It's so important. That's why Chris is here. To encourage us, to embolden us, to reinvigorate us, to get us to understand that we got to make a stand against the modern day redcoats, the progressive socialist left.
Wow.
And really, you really think about it, how interesting it is that this country that was founded on the issue of gun control, yes. On April the 19th of 1775, when the British landed up there in Massachusetts, they were marching inland toward Concord, Massachusetts, to destroy a weapons and armaments factory, except for one thing: some people that understood freedom, some people that understood liberty. They came out of the towers, they came out of their homes, they stood there on Lexington Green and fought for our freedom. But yet still here right now, we have a person that used to be a city council member in El Paso. A person that used to be a member of the United States House of Representatives from Texas, that is talking about disarming the American people. That's the English that we must fight today. So when I look at San Antonio, you're right down here on the end of the line. And what line am I talking about? I'm talking about the line that is I-35. Line. It is the backbone of Texas. When you start from Denton and come all the way down to San Antonio, you see the greatest amount of population centered along I-35. You know it because when you get on the road, you're stuck in traffic. But think about what is happening all along I-35. The progressive socialist left is taking over the spine of Texas.
My God.
You look at Denton and Denton County with the University of North Texas up there, the fact that their city council voted to not even allow us to be energy independent for the first time ever, that's a Texas miracle. But yet we have people in Texas going against it. You come right down to Dallas and Dallas County. I think it was a great thing that President Trump was there in Dallas, because we got to show people in Dallas and Dallas County that we're here to fight them, to get it back. You travel down I-35 out of Dallas and Dallas County, and what do you hit? You hit Waco. And what do you see a lot in Waco? You see California tags. Thanks, Chip and Joanna. You continue down I-35 and you come to the capital of the great state of Texas. But ask yourself, does the capital of the great state of Texas look like the capital of the great state of Texas, or does it resemble something else? And you continue on down and you come here to San Antonio. San Antonio, the keeper of the Alamo. San Antonio, such an important part of the history of not just Texas, but the United States of America. And yet you have a member of Congress here that blacklisted people that support the president. And he got away with it. That's just, well, I can't say But that should upset us. Because what we see happening here in the great state of Texas is that this cancer, this pestilence, this thing that is completely antithetical to the freedoms and liberties that we have fought for in the great state of Texas are taking root right here. We got to fight them. We should not be fighting each other. We should not be going around and saying, well, you're not as conservative, I'm conservative, as this and that. We need to just understand our fundamental principles and values. The Astros are playing right now. One of the things in baseball, they will tell you, the fundamental of baseball is good pitching.
Yes, sir.
What's the fundamental of liberty and freedom? That's the question we have to start answering. Because when you travel down the I-35 corridor, when you get, let's say, 50, 60 miles on either side of the I-35 corridor, what happens to the population? It drops. This is a strategic thing that the left is doing here in Texas. And they are repeating exactly what they have done in Oregon, in the state of Washington, in Nevada, in Arizona, in Colorado, New Mexico, and by golly, Oscar, they showed up here in Texas. It's time for us to stop fighting each other. We got to fight them. We got to identify who they are. And there is no greater time for us to do that than right now. Now look, I know President Trump personally because Mar-a-Lago and Trump International West Palm Beach and Trump International Jupiter were in the congressional district that I was honored to represent. And there are some times I know that, President Trump reminds us of the obnoxious boyfriend that we had in high school, or maybe like Vinnie Barbarino from Welcome Back Kotter. Sometimes he does things and we question, why are you doing it? But you know something? You know why President Trump is sitting in the White House? Because he fought back.
Yeah.
Republican president that stood up and said, I'm going to punch you back. And that's what we need. That's what people are looking for. Remember what Mel Gibson's character said? He said, men don't follow titles. They follow courage. So those men in Scotland who were calling themselves lords and barons or whatever, that didn't matter to people. What mattered to people is, do you have the courage to step out on the battlefield and lead from the front? That's what we need to have here in the great state of Republicans. And if we don't have the courage to step out there, if we can't define this enemy and who they are and the threats that they have to the future and legacy of this great state of Texas and the freedoms that have been earned here in just a short 184, 85 years. It's about religious freedom. Just not long ago, Bob Frank, that's really his nickname, Bob Frank. Okay, it's not this Hispanic nickname that he gave himself. I often tell people that he is about as Hispanic as I am Norwegian. Okay? But think about the fact that he came out and said not too long ago that if you don't embrace same-sex marriage as a church, you should lose your tax-exempt status. This country was founded on religious freedom. That's why people left England, because a king over there decided that I'm the head of state, I'm also going to become the head of church. And my beliefs are going to become the beliefs of that church, which is why King Henry established the Church of England, because he wanted a divorce. Their ideological agenda as their religious belief, and if you don't kowtow to it, if you don't submit to it, if you don't subjugate to it, then you don't have that First Amendment right, religious freedom. We need to be going out to all of these pastors, Black, white, Hispanic, Asian, it doesn't matter, and talk about the threats to religious freedom here in the great state of Texas. And don't think, I gotta remind you something. We've already been there in Texas. Mayor Annise Parker, when she was the mayor of Houston, subpoenaed the sermons of pastors that didn't want to go along with that here. It's already happening, that tyranny. When you think about, I know that we've got a great woman that's going to be running for Texas State Board of Education, because we need to make sure we maintain a system of education and stop allowing these indoctrination centers to take root here in the great state of Texas. If I'm correct, it was just last year in September, a bunch of chuckleheads got together and decided they were going to remove the reference of hero as it applies to the defenders of the Alamo. It's already here. It's already trying to creep into your schools. It's trying to change your young people. How could you take away the reference of heroic from the men that stood there for 13 days, 185 against 2,000 to 3,000? And they fought to the end so that we could be here today. That's what's happening here in the state of Texas. When you look at all the growth, opportunity, and prosperity that is occurring down this I-35 corridor, the fact that we're having to vote on a proposition in Texas that says that we are going to permanently ban the idea of a state income tax, it's absurd that we even have to do that. When you think about what has made this state so great and so prosperous that people are leaving places like California, Illinois, New York, New Jersey. San Antonio is the 7th largest city in the United States of America right now. San Antonio is one of the fastest growing cities in the United States of America right now. Why are people coming to San Antonio? Because they like what you got.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, they want to bring in something that is completely different from the semblance and the sense of individual freedoms and liberty, from this understanding of equality of opportunity. What do I mean by equality of opportunity? It means that this kid, born in the inner city of Atlanta, Georgia, could be standing here before you today. Not the equality of outcomes where somebody else sits around and they make the determinations. You know, I just ran into someone that reminded me of a great woman. Elizabeth West. Stand up.
Oh.
That was my mom's name.
Wow. Wow.
And so my mom is here with me through you. And my mom taught me that a man must stand for something or else he'll fall for anything. My mom taught me that the measure of a man is not how many times that you get knocked down, it's how many times you get back up.
That's right.
My mom never gave me a participation trophy. Okay? My mom liked for you to get out there and fight and be tough.
Yes.
When I fell off my bike, my mom didn't run up and say, "Oh baby." My mom said, "Get your butt back on the bike and try." In a high school football game, my mom came down and told me that my tackling technique was bad. That was Elizabeth West. But ask yourself, in this great state of Texas, where we have people that are trying to change the minds of our young people in high schools, in middle schools, and in college and university campuses, are you going and are you laying down your principles and values with the young people that will set the conditions for the next great generation of Texas? Christian, stand up. Yeah, you, Christian. Christian is a young man. He is a student at Texas State University. Christian is a member of the Young Conservatives of Texas there. There's a group in Texas called the Autonomous Student Network that threatened young conservative college students like Christian at Texas State University. They said that they will publicly shame them. Just the same as this congressman here, Joaquin Castro, did the exact same thing to people that were donors to the President of the United States of America. Folks, you see what is happening in Washington, D.C. They are doing unconstitutional things to get rid of the president, to tell you that the person that you duly elected in November 2016, they reject him. They're holding these hearings in secret. They're holding them in the dark. They're not allowing Republicans to take part of it.
Terrible.
That's tyranny.
Shameful tyranny. Yep.
Hillary Clinton, when she was asked about civility, Hillary Clinton said, "We will be civil when we're in charge." That's not tyranny, that's ideological domination.
That's it.
Folks, what more do you need? Stand up and fight back. This is all about it. So I'm here to encourage you. I'm here to tell you that our principles and values of faith, of family,
Right.
of individual responsibility,
Yep.
of small business entrepreneurship, of quality education, and a service to the nation. Those are the foundational principles. That's like pitching in baseball. You will win as long as you maintain those principles. It's just the same as when Joshua took over. The great verse 5 through 9. And what did God tell Joshua 3 times? Be strong.
Be strong in
And of good courage. He told Joshua, this book of the law, you shall meditate upon it day and night. You shall not turn from it from the left or to the right. And as long as you do so, you will have success and prosperity wherever you go.
That's right.
Now, he was talking about the book of the law that we call the Bible today. But let me tell you something. There's another book of the law that we need to be following to the left and to the right. Do we not turn from it from the day or night? And we need to be meditating upon it, and we need to share it with each and every one of our future generations. And that's this. Declaration of Independence, Constitution, United States of America. Why is there a clip on it? Because it's falling apart. Because I refer back to it, I highlight and everything. That's what we need to have in our schools. I don't know who came up with this mess called social studies. We used to have history and civics. And when we had history and civics, everything was good. The young lady back there asked the question of Chris about prayer back in schools. I remember when we had prayer in schools. When we had prayer in schools, I don't remember having police officers.
Nope.
I don't remember metal detectors.
Nope.
I don't remember this evil that we have allowed to come in. Think about California right now. Rolling blackouts. But it's not just they're physically in the dark, they're ideologically in the dark.
My goodness.
And if we're not careful here in Texas, with the people that are coming into this great state, into our great cities, then we will be moved into an ideological darkness as well. My message to you is very simple. Be strong and of good courage. Meditate upon the book of the law of Moses and our founding fathers. Do not turn from it from the left or to the right. Meditate upon it day and night. You will have success and prosperity wherever you go. In verse 9, he said at the end, have I not commanded you to be strong and of good courage? And remember those famous closing words of Joshua in chapter 24 and verse 15? He said, choose for yourselves today whom you shall serve, being the gods of the Amorites and the gods from across the river, but as for you shall serve the Lord.
Amen.
I'm telling you to leave out of here tonight and be committed, not just to serve the Lord in your house, but to serve this great country as well.
Amen.
The men and women that stood here before you that have taken that incredible oath of office, they're saying that you can take that oath as well. You can take a commitment to this Constitution as well. You can make a commitment to the great state of Texas as well. We have to. Because if not, remember what happened later on in Judges chapter 2, right after Joshua gave his great farewell address? And it talked about how Joshua and all the subsequent generations had died off. And the new generation start to bow down and worship the Baals. If we don't continue to tell the story of the greatness of Texas, the greatness of the United States of America, our fundamentals for freedom and liberty, then our future generations will forget how we got here. We have to be committed that that will not happen on our watch. God bless you all.
Amen.
We have time if there are some questions on the floor that they would like to ask to Lieutenant Colonel Allen West. Please stand. Anyone? Any questions?
Does it work? Yeah. You booby trapped it. In Proverbs chapter 3, verse 5 through 6, it says, trust in the Lord with all thy heart, lean not upon your own understanding, in all your ways acknowledge him, and he will direct your path. I'll be here to serve the great state of Texas in whatever capacity they want. If you want a really good dog catcher, I'll go out there and I'll catch all the stray dogs you want. But the most important thing is we have to have service hearts. I think too often people sit back and they say, I'm going to go do this. And they don't listen to that still, quiet voice that will tell them where they need to be. So you just pray that I will do as God would have me to do, and I will be obedient to him. Y'all remember the Flintstones? Y'all remember Fred Flintstones, right? Y'all remember? I love Flintstones. Meet the Flintstones. They're like, remember that little green guy that used to sit on Fred Flintstone's shoulder called Kazoo? Come on now, y'all remember Kazoo? Too often people are listening to Kazoo and not listening to the Lord. So
Preach.
pray that I will always listen to the Lord and not to the little green guy sitting on my shoulder. We all got a little green guy that sits on our shoulder, okay?